Our mind is strongly influenced by what we already own or the services we already use. This attachment to the status quo leads to sunk cost thinking. I've already invested so much in this, I can't just quit. One of the most famous mistakes in economic decision-making is known as the sunk cost fallacy. It's our sneaky brain convincing us to continue with something simply because we've already put money, time, or effort into it. Even when it's clear that bailing out is the smarter move. Crazy, right? Back in 2007, Nokia was the world's leading mobile phone manufacturer, responsible for 40% of all mobile phones sold globally. But fast forward 7 years, and their mobile phone division had tanked. The executives, married to their past, kept pouring resources into Nokia's proprietary operating system, while Google and Apple took over the market. They just couldn't admit defeat. One of the most tragic examples of the sunk cost trap is the infamous 1996 Mount Everest disaster. Climbing teams pushed for the summit dangerously late in the day, just as a powerful storm swept in. They knew they were in trouble, but they had already put so much effort into the climb they couldn't turn around. These examples show how even big players fall for the sunk cost fallacy. What makes us cling to sinking ships? Let's break it down. First up, loss aversion. Our brains are wired to feel the pain of loss more intensely than the joy of gain. Imagine finding $20 versus losing $20. The sting of losing it hurts way more, right? So, when we've invested time or money, we cling to it to avoid that painful feeling of loss. How do we break free from it? Awareness is the first step. This means acknowledging that the time, money, or effort you've already spent is irrecoverable. It's in the past, and there's no getting it back. Holding on to it is like clutching at smoke. Let it go. Learn from mistakes. View past investments as learning experiences, not losses. What did you learn? How can you apply this knowledge going forward? Every failure is a lesson. Embrace it and move on. Moreover, it is not just about the money. It becomes an emotional commitment. We develop a sense of ownership over our investments. This could be effort, time, and memories. We fear regret and hate the idea of giving up on something we've poured ourselves into. Practice emotional detachment. Make decisions based on logic and current facts. We're not ruled by past investments. This can be tough, but it's essential for making rational choices. Stay calm and keep your emotions in check. It's all about balance. Then there's the framing effect. How we present options can skew our decisions. If an investment is framed as nearly complete or as a major milestone, we're more likely to stick with it, even if it's not the best choice. So, reframe your perspective like this. Instead of fixating on what you've already lost, focus on the potential benefits you can still gain. What's the best decision for your future, not your past? Think of it like gardening. Don't worry about the seeds that didn't sprout. Focus on the flowers you can still grow. Address the specific issue at hand rather than getting overwhelmed by the bigger picture. When you break it down, it's easier to see the way forward. Commitment bias is another culprit. Once we commit to a plan, our brains fight to stay the course. We've already invested so much, so why change now? Set clear criteria for when to continue or abandon a project. Establish benchmarks that help you decide if it's worth sticking with your plan or if it's time to move on. Having a checklist can keep you on track and prevent you from falling into the sunk cost trap. Ever heard of over-optimistic probability bias? After making an investment, we tend to overestimate our chances of success. Those rose-tinted glasses make us believe things will turn around any minute now. It's like thinking, I've already bought 10 lottery tickets, the next one has to be the winner. It usually isn't. Trust the data. Base your decisions on reliable information and evidence, not on past investments. Let the numbers guide you. Waste avoidance is a big one. We hate the idea of wasting resources. It's why we keep those old gadgets and gizmos, thinking we might need them someday. The same logic applies to our decisions. Abandoning a project feels like throwing money and effort in the trash. So we keep going, hoping it will eventually pay off. When people have only one option, they often double down. But when they are forced to consider other options, it reduces the risk of escalating commitment and broadens the conversation. Consider opportunity costs. This means evaluating what you might gain from alternative choices. Sometimes switching gears can open up better opportunities. What could you achieve if you redirected your resources? Each path offers different possibilities. Change your risk preference. Be open to accepting some risks. Sometimes taking a new path can lead to greater rewards. Take the leap. It might be thrilling and rewarding. Lastly, personal responsibility. When we make decisions, we take them personally. Our choices become part of our identity, and abandoning them feels like abandoning ourselves. Remain independent. Avoid getting too emotionally attached to your decisions. Keep a clear, objective mindset. Travel light, both physically and mentally. Don't carry unnecessary baggage. Some sunk costs can actually be motivating. Let's talk about using the sunk cost fallacy to our advantage. Sounds weird, but hear me out. Think about gym memberships. Those hefty upfront fees? They can actually be a good thing. They encourage us to hit the gym regularly. No one wants their money to go to waste, so we show up, work out, and get fit. The sunk cost here pushes us to stay committed and make healthier choices. Same goes for online courses. When we pay for a course, we're more likely to complete it. Free courses, easy to ignore. But when our hard-earned cash is on the line, we feel a stronger urge to follow through and get our money's worth. Investing in ourselves can be a powerful motivator. Sure, a grand wedding sounds amazing, but spending a fortune on it doesn't increase the chances of a lasting marriage. It's a one-time event, and the money is gone. What really matters is the relationship, not the price tag of the wedding. Throughout history, many breakthroughs have come from persistence. And yes, while some sunk costs should be cut loose, others can be the nudge we need to keep going, to not give up at the first sign of trouble. Is the sunk cost fallacy a bug or a feature? Recognizing it as part of our decision-making toolkit can help us use it wisely. It's about what's best now, not what felt best then.